Welcome to @Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Let's get a refresh on the top Arizona news of the week.
An Arizona House bill could legalize concealed weapon carry on Arizona's 3 public college campuses. Reporter Sydney Glenn spoke to supporters as well as people who oppose the bill.
That's right. If House Bill 2072 were to be passed, people with their concealed carry permits would be allowed to conceal carry on Arizona's 3 public universities. Currently here at ASU, things like tasers, pellet guns, and even pepper spray are not allowed on campus. Arizona State University's undergraduate student government took a stance on the bill Tuesday night. After talking to hundreds of ASU students, club leaders, and sending out a poll, almost 70% said they would be against this bill.
This bill has passed.
The successful vote to oppose the House bill comes as USG said most people's concerns include intoxication and suicide.
Obviously, you don't take your CCW permit test while drunk, but you may end up having a legal right to have that gun while drunk.
But not everyone agrees with that.
We believe that students should have whatever they feel that they need or whatever they want to protect themselves on campus.
According to the Arizona Department of Public Safety, there are about 250,000 Arizonans with their concealed carry permit. 32,000 of those are between the ages of 21 and 29. That's roughly 13%.
I probably would carry on campus if it's passed.
Perry Miller, president of ASU's Gun Devils, is in the process of getting his concealed weapons permit. Being able to carry on campus would make him feel safer.
For the same reason that there's people fighting for this bill to pass is just the events going around in this world today, especially within the country. You just never know what's going to happen.
The Arizona Board of Regents came out with a statement opposing the bill, but they understand people's concern for safety and are open to other options.
Potential of having a campus marshals program where we have significant numbers of highly trained and experienced people around each of our college campuses who will be able to engage.
For now, USG says that they need to represent how the majority of students would feel if this bill is passed.
We just want to make sure that we do a lot of good outreach and then get to express that to the state legislature, and they can take that into account when they vote.
The bill went through its second reading at the House earlier this week. Back in 2011, then Governor Jan Brewer vetoed a very similar bill to this. We did reach out to Governor Doug Ducey for comment, but we've yet to hear back. Live in Tempe, Sydney Glenn, Cronkite News.
Photo radar has come up in the Arizona legislature several times since the cameras were installed in the early 2000s. But some people think this year's bill, a complete statewide prohibition on photo radar, might actually pass. Cronkite News reporter Ben Marjat is in Scottsdale for the update.
Common sense would say that drivers coming into these intersections with red light and speed cameras make the road safer because they're slowing down, fearful of getting a ticket. But this kind of driver behavior might actually make things more dangerous.
Most of us Arizona drivers have a story that goes something like this.
It was coming home late at night from working very late, and I got it for 11 miles an hour over the speed limit. There was no cars on the road.
David Johnson was caught by a speed enforcement camera. But if House Bill 2540 passes this year, those speed cameras and red light cameras would be outlawed in the state. House Republican Kelly Townsend, who has actually voted against a similar bill in the past, proposed the legislation this time around.
I wasn't ready yet to say, let's get rid of them. But I had given my word that if it could be shown that there was fraud involved, that I'd run the bill myself.
That confirmation came in the legislative off-season, when a former CEO for Redflex, one of the big photo radar manufacturing companies, pled guilty to fraud in June. Shady business practices aside, questions remain whether these cameras are actually making the roadways safer, an argument often made by politicians who want to keep them in place. Common sense would say that yes, drivers approaching a red light camera or a speed camera would slow down and be more cautious, but the numbers and logic might not back that up.
Shining a bright flash in somebody's face in the middle of the most dangerous part of the road, the intersection, is going to increase accidents.
A 2005 study done by the University of Arizona and sponsored by ADOT showed that rear-end collisions at intersections with these cameras increased by 51% in Phoenix and 41% in Scottsdale.
Rear-end collisions skyrocket 40% because people are slamming on their brakes because they're afraid to get a ticket.
Representative Townsend said that even if the bill doesn't pass the legislature, a similar measure will go to the ballot later this year. In Scottsdale, Ben Marjat, Cronkite News.
DUI arrests are down for the 4th year in a row here in Arizona, and law officers aim to keep those numbers down at big events like the Waste Management Phoenix Open, which had a record-breaking 618,000 attendees this year. Cronkite News reporter Sydney Glenn found out how police are preventing drunk driving.
2015 DUI arrest numbers here in Arizona are down about 7,500 since 2012. Things like education, stricter laws, and the accessibility of transportation apps like Uber all play a role in that. Golf balls were flying and drinks were flowing at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. People enjoyed more than just the golf.
I have been drinking today and I plan on doing more of it. Thank you for asking.
But with heavy drinking comes responsibility.
Well, I like to drink responsibly, and I don't want to do anything that would endanger the lives of other people.
The Scottsdale Police Department set up the Know Your Limit detail to help educate people and keep them from getting behind the wheel after too many drinks.
And the thought process is catch people before they get in the car, let them know what's going on, and maybe they'll have to make a right decision.
Some used the breathalyzer to see if they were able to drive. Others more as a competition to see how drunk they were. Using a large-scale event such as the Phoenix Open as an opportunity to make knowing your limit fun is part of why DUI numbers are down for the 4th year in a row here in Arizona, about a difference of 7,500 arrests. Uber, a popular ride app, was also at the event.
I think the more that people are learning about the service, learning about the ease of it, the sort of push a button and get a ride aspect, the more people realize that they have alternatives to drinking and driving.
And several people agree, using the click of a button to get home.
Oh, well, probably Uber, unless my friend decides to drive us, which is a much better thing to do than me drive us.
Although DUI arrest numbers are down, the job of keeping drunk drivers off the road is far from over.
I won't be happy until every single person on the roadway has made the right decision or is unable to drive a vehicle impaired.
The National Transportation Safety Board urged states last week to lower their legal driving limit from 0.08 to 0.05 or even lower, and hopes that that will prevent more people from getting behind the wheel after they've had too much to drink. Live in downtown Phoenix, I'm Sydney Glenn, Cronkite News.
Immigration has been a hot-button topic during the presidential debates, and it will no doubt be an issue when Pope Francis visits the U.S.-Mexico border next week. Cronkite News reporter Mauricio Casillas joins us to talk about the significance of the Pope's border trip.
The countdown to the Pope's arrival in Mexico has begun. One of the highlights of his visit will be to the border city of Juarez, which was once considered Mexico's murder capital. Many are hoping that Pope Francis's message will help the city heal.
On the streets of Ciudad Juarez, anticipation is building as the border city prepares to welcome Pope Francis.
I love that country, I love the city, and the Papa Francisco.
Just outside of the Catedral de Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe, Juarez residents line up to write a special message for the Pope.
Muchas gracias por venir a visitar.
10-year-old Neida Ramirez thanked the Pope for coming to visit her city. This will be the first ever papal visit to the border. It comes as Juarez recovers from years of drug-related violence.
At one moment, Juarez was considered the most dangerous city in the world. I think that the Pope's visit will bring a drastic change to the city.
A city now trying to rebuild its image. The altar where Pope Francis will celebrate Mass is taking shape, right across the border from El Paso, Texas. Construction workers are here 7 days a week. Construction worker Jaime Ibarra says he's proud to be doing very important work.
This construction site will be transformed into a sacred place for the thousands of faithful that are coming to hear the Pope speak on that stage back here. Now, over there on the U.S. side of the border, people will be lining up as well to catch a glimpse of the historic moment.
Many El Pasoans stopped going to Juarez at the peak of the violence. Now there's hope that Pope Francis will bring the border community together.
We were looking away from them, but with the Pope coming, that'll unify us and make our bond as brothers and sisters even stronger.
And the Pope will no doubt have a strong message about the migrants and refugees who come to the borderland in search of a better life.
He's going to call
all parties to come together to bring solutions to the table.
More than 450,000 people are expected to celebrate the Pope's visit in Juarez. During a Mass, the Pope will offer a blessing for Catholics in El Paso, watching a live broadcast on the U.S. side of the border. In the broadcast center, I'm Mauricio Casillas, Cronkite News.
A mysterious plant from Southeast Asia is being sold in head shops and quickly growing in popularity. Cronkite News investigative reporter Ty Scholes has more.
It's called kratom, and it's been used as folk medicine in Thailand for hundreds of years. Dried and sold in capsules, kratom can be mildly intoxicating. The DEA calls it a drug of concern. Users say it has life-changing benefits.
Addicted to heroin and experiencing withdrawals, Chance Guyon turned to the controversial herbal supplement kratom to help him kick the habit.
I felt like I was going to be put into a mental institution or some homeless shelter, shaking, sweating, everything that you can possibly fathom. Saved my life. Totally saved my life.
Kratom is touted as an herbal substitute to painkillers.
It's a great natural alternative to prescribed medications for many different things, whether it be opiate withdrawal, physical pain, and anxiety.
Classified as a dietary supplement by the FDA, kratom's effect is dose-dependent. Light doses acting like coffee, heavier doses more like opiates.
It stimulates the same receptor as heroin, as methadone, as oxycodone, any of those medications. Kratom also does the same, stimulates the same receptor, so there is potential for abuse and dependence if our people are taking kratom for on a long-term basis.
The DEA classifies kratom as a drug of concern. It claims that consumption can lead to addiction.
It is a drug of potential abuse, and so it's already labeled that, and so that immediately puts the red flags up for everybody.
4 states, Vermont, Wisconsin, Indiana, and Tennessee, have banned the sale of kratom.
We're not dealing with a benign, tea like chamomile. We're dealing with something that has potential, but at the same time, we really need to understand far more about it than we do now.
But many addicts say that kratom is better than alternatives like methadone.
It just helped me get over that withdrawal hump, which most people stay on heroin because the withdrawal is so hardcore, and that's why they just keep doing heroin.
When you can find a natural substitute for something like that, even if it's just a way to get off of everything, that's exactly what I think people should do.
Kratom was close to being banned by the Arizona legislature in 2014. But today, users tell Cronkite News that using the herb is much better than using prescription drugs. With the investigative team, Ty Scholes, Cronkite News.
Pop culture meets technology and brings the imaginary to life at the new exhibit at the Arizona Science Center. Cronkite News reporter Gilbert Cordova joins us live there. Gilbert?
I'm going. Visitors who come here can see a robot, jetpack, virtual reality, and a new car, all under one roof. Welcome to Popnology.
Okay, so a tough crowd. Let's be honest, that was not very exciting.
What was once thought to be science fiction has started to become reality here at Popnology, a new exhibit at the Arizona Science Center that is looking to bring the past and future together. Visitors can see everything from realistic dinosaur eggs to dangerous robots. Chevy Humphrey, president and CEO of the Arizona Science Center, believes the exhibit has more to offer than just the wow factor.
So Popnology brings together many of these ideas that we're trying to implement here at Arizona Science Center. And furthermore, its social component on the impact of technology has had on our society today.
This new exhibit is home to 4 different sections. You might even find some familiar faces.
And there's only one way to celebrate it.
Where you will find a car that was years ago only an idea.
Local Motors is a technology company that designs, builds, and sells vehicles, and this car behind me is the world's first 3D printed car.
The car became reality in 2014.
Well, the next thing that Local Motors is going to do is we're on the path to launching a highway-ready 3D printed car coming out at the beginning of next year. And then in addition to that, because we can move so quickly with the iterations that we do on vehicles, you're going to see the first other forms of transportation.
Starting this Sunday, Popnology will be open to the public until May 15th. For a more in-depth look, check out the digital story at cronkitenews.azpbs.org. In downtown Phoenix, I'm Gilbert Cordova, Cronkite News.
Just a week after Michael Phelps' Curtain of Distraction performance went viral, the most decorated Olympian in history participated in Arizona State Swim and Dive's dual meet Saturday. Christina Vicario has the story.
Fans packed into Arizona State's Mona Plummer Aquatic Center for Saturday's meet against Arizona, thanks at least in part due to the presence of Michael Phelps. Phelps is training at ASU with the school's swim and dive coach Bob Bowman in preparation for this summer's Olympics in Rio.
I was asking, I asked Ray and I was asking some of the other athletes, have they ever had a crowd like this? We haven't seen one like this. And you know, I think the interest that people have in swimming and the ASU programs, it's insane.
The ASU men's swimming and diving team beat U of A for the first time in 14 years in a dual meet on Saturday. Coach Bob Bowman said while this was a product of hard training, the 18-time Olympic gold medalist that stood on the sidelines may have had an influence.
I'm pretty sure there's probably some people came to see him that might not have otherwise come, which was great. I think it's a combination, right? They've been training super well, and to be in this environment, which is so special today, I mean, perfect weather, huge crowd, good energy, a lot of things going on. I think it all contributed to it.
Everyone is much more confident. They're much more motivated because one of the best people in the world swimming with us.
Such a talented athlete. I think that brings a lot of people to see him, and that helps us a lot as a program because makes us more famous, and for sure people are going to support us and we're going to have more energy to be successful as well.
Phelps will serve as a volunteer assistant for ASU's swim and dive program after the Olympics are over. For Cronkite News in Tempe, I'm Christina Vicario.
The Summer Olympics kicks off on August 5th, and Cronkite News will have a team of journalists in Rio covering the swim team and many other Arizona-related stories at the Games. A Navajo girls basketball team is now allowed to wear their traditional hair ties after a referee delivered a controversial order to remove them. Cronkite News reporter Lillian Simpson spoke to the team members. For Flagstaff High School, Tuesday was an emotional night as Arizona Interscholastic Association officials banned a unique Navajo tradition from making its way to the court. But Friday marked a big win for varsity members of the girls basketball team.
They took it down. There were some tears shed. They were very disappointed. Of course, the crowd was in an uproar.
This was the reaction from many team members and spectators at Tuesday's game when Arizona Interscholastic Association officials told the girls' varsity basketball team they had to remove their Navajo hair buns before the game.
Somewhere deep down it was kind of hurtful, but I was just whatever, we have a game to continue, so I was all right. But I didn't think it was I didn't think he meant it in a bad way.
Pauline Butler spent time doing the girls' hair again before their game, but this time the hair bun would stay. Butler says the ciel isn't just a hairpiece, but a part of a long Navajo tradition.
Frowned upon to cut your hair, so what we do to gather our thoughts, to make sure they're in a nice neat bundle so they're not scattered all over the place, we roll them up into a bun, and then we tie it with our hair tie. We usually, traditionally in the creation stories, they were tied with sun rays, and that's what the hair tie signifies.
With a little over 10% of Native Americans living in Flagstaff, many Navajo families call this place home. At Flagstaff High School, the girls' varsity basketball team united one last time for the seniors' home game.
Senior number 54, Abby Short.
Emotions ran high as the seniors honored their coach one last time, giving him a traditional blanket from the team.
The AIA has since spoken out about the incident and has reassured Flagstaff High School, along with the rest of Arizona schools, that officials will continue extensive sensitivity training so this doesn't occur again. Live in the studio, Lillian Simpson, Cronkite News.
A team of young Latinas from Camelback High School recently took first place in a statewide innovative app challenge. They're setting the example in a field where there are few Hispanic women. Cronkite News reporter Haziel Bernal has the story.
It started with a simple goal: make a trip to the supermarket quick and efficient.
We came across people complaining about how stressful it is to go shopping, and that's how Shop Easy came about.
An all-Hispanic girls team from Camelback High School in Phoenix developed the idea for the Verizon Innovative App Challenge.
As we did the research, we realized that the technology did exist, that there was different companies who based their companies on indoor GPS system, and so we decided that through that company we would back up our app.
With the support of their teacher, the girls presented their idea using poster boards and their own commercial.
Shop Easy, an indoor grocery store GPS app that can change your life.
The competition was tough with 1,200 other entries. Even so, they won Best in State for their mobile app concept.
There's so many possibilities and opportunities in these careers for, young women, and, to be role models, and young Hispanic women especially, is amazing.
Few women are involved in the fields of science and technology, and even fewer Hispanic women. Women are still underrepresented in STEM careers, making up only about 27% of the workforce, and of those, less than 10% are minority women.
What we did look at this challenge was as an opportunity to, if we did win, to help it motivate us, for us to keep going harder.
The girls are now looking for support to develop their app. And for taking first place, they won a $5,000 donation for their high school's marketing and entrepreneurship club and their very own tablets. In Phoenix, Jaciel Bernal, Cronkite News.
A new dam is being built for Tempe Town Lake to replace the current rubber dam that has caused issues in the past. When it's completed, it will be the largest hydraulically operated steel gate dam system in the country.
Water in Tempe Town Lake is glistening from the hot Arizona sun, but it won't be that way for long. Once the water is removed, it will take another couple weeks to remove the old dam.
It's going to be used in irrigation for your yard, for a park. There's lots of ways that this water is going to be reused. It's a tremendous resource, and we realize that water is precious.
The goal is to have the project completed and the new dam reopened with SRP canal water by April 30th. In the meantime, the life beneath the lake's surface has a place to go.
We have been working since fall to ask anglers to take as many of these fish as they can and take them out of the lake by catching them. We have not stocked any of our sport fish. We have not stocked any fish since earlier this year.
One Tempe resident hopes this new dam is worth it.
The only thing I'm really concerned about is that there's a lot of money that's gone into building these new floodgates, and it's kind of a revolutionary thing that they're doing. I just hope it works.
City officials say they did research to find the right dam for the job.
There were 20 different technologies that we looked at and evaluated, and this one was by far the best.
Super Bowl fans are stocking up on avocados. Guacamole is now a game day tradition. As Cronkite News reporter Anthony Marroquin shows us, the appetite for avocados has never been bigger.
It's Super Bowl week, and there's only one dip for your chip.
A lot of avocados.
Across the valley, grocery stores like Los Altos Ranch Market are stocking up.
We sell a lot of guacamole here.
That's because Super Bowl Sunday is the #1 day for avocado consumption in the U.S.
We'll sell 80 cases a day.
That's double what they usually sell.
Guacamole is quickly becoming a necessity at every single Super Bowl party. Americans are projected to eat about 140 million pounds of avocados this Super Bowl. That's enough to fill a football field end zone to end zone well over 46 times.
Every customer is picking up an avocado daily. It's like they're eating it more in their meals.
And Mexico's taking notice of that with a campaign that encourages people to eat more avocados from Mexico.
Yes.
For the second year in a row, it will air a commercial during the Super Bowl, and this time, it's out of this world.
But most amazing of all are the avocados from Mexico. They're always in season, so you can enjoy them all year long.
Oh, he can eat a whole one just right out of it with a spoon. He doesn't like to share.
Like most families, the Gonzalez will be enjoying the big game with a big bowl of guacamole. And maybe some whole ones for Dorian. In Phoenix, I'm Anthony Marroquin, Cronkite News.
The amount of avocados Americans eat has doubled in the last decade and continues to grow each year.
Now, here's an @Cronkite News Pick of the Week, a favorite from the Cronkite News staff.
A dime. It may be worth just 10 cents to most of us, but as Sydney Schofield reports, one Cave Creek bus driver is finding ways to make it worth so much more to his students.
Norm Rogers is not your average bus driver.
He treats us like we're
not just students at a school, and we're like actually real people.
And his students in the Cave Creek Unified School District notice.
He's just the best bus driver I've ever had.
So when Christmas came around, he saw an opportunity.
So many of the bus drivers in the past that I'm familiar with have given candy, cookies, brownies. I'd like to do something that was a little more memorable.
He gave them all a 90% pure silver dime, minted just before World War II. And with the coin, a message.
This little dime, because of the way the economy is now, who knows? A dime in 10 years could be worth $300. Your education is worth far more.
He packaged the note and coin in little boxes with Christmas stickers, hoping they had a gift they could keep forever. Though most of his students aren't even in high school yet, the value of his message was not lost on them.
The coin meant that we would succeed in life, and it actually made us feel like someone actually did care and cared about our future and how we were going to make it in the real world.
With the stress facing students today, Norm just wants them to know how important it is to stay in school.
With a good education, your challenges will be lighter. With a good education, your future will be brighter.
And with Norm in the driver's seat, these students are on that road to success. In Cave Creek, I'm Sydney Schofield, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News tracks your likes, tweets, and shares from all our social sites to bring you this news special. At Cronkite News, our weekly refresh. Join the conversation so you choose the news. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org for top Arizona stories anytime.